in their
really bad deals.
Well, I have to say, I have to give them credit for going for it when they did. But even when that trade happened, I said then, and we weren't even on the air back then, but I said back then that was a bad trade because they just gave up too much.
Right.
And too many number one draft picks down the road. And now the Nets are the worst team in the league and so desperately in need of players. And now they don't have a pick. And not only that, but their pick is the odds-on favor. The Celtics, who own the Nets pick, have a 25% chance of winning the lottery. And that is the best percentage for any team. The Knicks, who screwed up late in the season and won a couple of games that they shouldn't have won to wind up in the 7th spot as opposed to the 6th. Can't play to lose,
brother. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? You can. The Philadelphia 76ers have been doing it for 4 years now.
It hasn't helped them.
Well, it's on the verge of helping them. And they've also made bad draft picks. That's the other thing. But the Knicks have a 5.3% chance to get the first pick. All right, I'm not holding my breath on this one because Phil Jackson, this franchise has been cursed ever since Phil Jackson arrived.
This isn't Dave DeBusschere in 1985.
Dave DeBusschere was a lucky guy.
86 or whatever with Patrick Ewing.
So, but that's going to happen Tuesday at 8:30 at halftime of the Warriors Spurs game. It happens quick. Don't miss it because it's
a quick thing.
Halftime is 15 minutes,
right?
So it's going to happen pretty quick. As soon as they get to halftime, they're going to cut to Secaucus. The balls have already been spun and done, and they're just going to open up some envelopes. With any luck, the Knicks can move up because that would help them because this is a point guard rich draft.
Well,
and Lord knows the Knicks are desperately in need of a point guard.
Maybe they get a point guard and then trade Carmelo. You got to trade him before the beginning. You got to trade him before the summer starts.
You have to trade him before the draft. If you're going to trade him, you have to trade him before the draft because you need to get a number one pick for him. And I'm not saying that the Knicks certainly are not going to get the Celtics number one overall pick for Carmelo.
They wouldn't give that to him.
So, but
I know what you're saying.
You need to get some kind of pick, whether it's in the middle of the first round or something, because you need to be able to add somebody who will be able to contribute. And to trade Carmelo and to not get that kind of return, especially this is actually going to be a pretty good draft. Like I said, it's very, very heavy in point guards and players with basketball IQs are what the Knicks need right now.
Right.
So, that is. I don't know. I mean, they've been trying to trade him. The Celtics had emerged as a likely landing spot for Carmelo. Whether or not all of this happens, who knows? Because I doubt Danny Ainge has been doing much talking with Phil Jackson in the last couple of weeks.
I think what happens is if Carmelo's not traded before the draft, which I don't think he will be,
I
think what happens is a team after the draft who maybe doesn't get what they wanted or needed will say, okay, we can get Carmelo. And I think that's the way you're going to trade him. And
but if you do that, then the return for this season is nothing.
You're right, and
maybe it's a player, but it's certainly not a player who's as good as Carmelo.
No.
So now you're looking at a 25-win season.
You know what I can see happening? I can see the Knicks getting like 3 players or 4 players for Carmelo.
That's garbage.
All scrubs.
It's all scrubs. Those trades never work.
I know that. But
I want draft picks. If you're going to give me garbage players like that, then give me draft picks.
But no one's going to give a draft pick right now. No. So anyway, let's quickly break over to soccer. As my brother loves the soccer. And
love the soccer.
The Tottenham Hotspur yesterday also had their own little ceremony over in...
a big ceremony.
In Great Britain. White Hart Lane is retiring as a stadium.
Well, they are starting the wrecking ball process, I think, today.
Yeah, and
after the last game was yesterday, not even 24 hours later, it's like, we got building to do. Let's go.
Yeah, and they're building a new stadium for Tottenham, and it's a very historic stadium.
118 years old.
Yeah,
started in 1899. That building.
That's the equivalent of Wrigley Field, if you think about it.
It's even older.
But Wrigley Field's been updated a lot lately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, White Hart Lane had been updated several times as well, but it got to the point. Basically, what's going on here is, yes, the building is old. Obviously,
right.
It opened in 1899, but it had been updated, improved, and like a lot of stadiums in England and in the Premier League. But Tottenham is one of those clubs that is a big team, and people want to see their matches, and it's difficult to get tickets. So the stadium this season, actually, they reduced attendance because they already started building the new stadium, so they actually had to take out part of the current stadium because
I mean,
they were
they're
building in
building
that footprint.
It's really unusual. It's almost like Yankee and Citi Field in the sense that it's right next door, but
Right.
this is literally on top of it.
It's somebody compared it to Pac-Man, and it looks like right now. If you go to Tottenham's website, you can see pictures, but it looks like the old stadium is gobbling, or the new stadium is gobbling up the old stadium, which is going to be accelerated. Like I said, I mean they're not letting any grass grow here. It's as soon as today they're starting. It's the wrecking ball is out already.
Now, how fast do they build it? Because I know they have an 11-month season there, isn't it?
Well, they're going to be playing at Wembley next season.
Oh, okay.
So, but then for the 2018-19 season, that's going to be the opening of.
Okay, that's good because I remember a few years ago MSG redid themselves and they did it over the summer.
Right.
And if you ever watch, there's some shows about the making of it, and they were just speed doing it. It was incredible that they got it fast. It reminded me. I'm driving home on Saturday morning, and they're fixing the lines in the streets, like in the grids, the walkways and stuff on Hempstead Turnpike, and the guys are literally running because. The thing is, get
it done fast.
The light turns green, and they can't be in the street.
Yeah.
So during the red light, they come and they do their thing, and then the light turns green, they run away.
That's how it has to happen. But
I didn't know they were playing at Wembley. Okay.
Well, yeah, they're going to be playing at Wembley for next season. While the new stadium gets built, the new stadium is going to be
how many people?
A show place, 61,559.
Okay.
Which is almost the old capacity was somewhere in the 40,000s. So it's a significant upgrade in terms of attendance, which will allow the team to have more money, so that the increase in revenue will allow them to spend more on players, which is always a good thing.
Right.
And also the new White Hart Lane, as we're calling it, there's going to be a sponsor name to it, but they're also going to be hosting NFL games because there's going to be an auxiliary field that slides in and out. So it's going to be like a tray system kind of a thing,
right?
But it's literally going to slide in and slide out. It's remarkable.
Well, that's what they did when Old Giant Stadium when they hosted the World Cup. They just slid the grass in and out.
Exactly, but this is going to be a permanent fixture. So they're going to have at least 2 NFL games a year. I think the contract is for like 10 years.
Really?
So NFL games that get played in London in the future after 2018 are going to be at White Hart Lane.
Why would there be a difference between a soccer field and a football field?
So you don't chew up the soccer field.
That's the reason?
That's the reason. Football chews up grass and
it fix it,
Well, but you need to have. You can't just play on patches of grass and throw it out there. You need to know the grass is going to actually be there when you cut on it.
Okay.
And that was the complaint about Giant Stadium was after they played football on it, they would try to put down new trays, but the trays hadn't set.
Right.
So. They're doing it right. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's interesting that they would actually have pull-out trays for just 2 games a year.
It's the entire field. It's not just trays. It's the entire field is going to be on wheels.
That's pretty good. So, it's a historic thing. I like old stadiums and stuff like that. 61,000 is pretty good. You think they can?
It's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the biggest stadium in London.
Yeah, I know. They don't have huge stadiums the way we have here.
Well, 61,000 is pretty huge.
Well, for that, but I mean, we have like 80,000 seat. For football.
But that's for football. That's for.
You think that in Great Britain, which is a huge soccer town, or football town.
But remember, there are something like 8 soccer teams in London.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Think about if we had 8 baseball teams in New York, how that would work. But the thing is, all right, Chelsea is also starting to build a new stadium. Tottenham's a couple years ahead of them. Arsenal had built a stadium about, I want to say, 7 years ago or so, right. and Tottenham Stadium will actually be just slightly bigger than Arsenal's, which is probably a PR thing as much as anything. But you got to go bigger than Arsenal. And it's a symbol of Tottenham's ambitions to be bigger than Arsenal as well.
Well, also,
which we are right now.
There's this whole thing that these franchises are worth billions of dollars, but
they're worth billions of dollars.
They're really, I think, overpriced compared to teams here. I don't know what
it's a worldwide sport. Baseball's not a worldwide sport like you want to think it is. Soccer is.
I don't know how much NBCSN is paying for those games, but it's not as
probably not as much as they should be.
Yeah, well, whatever their ratings are.
So, but anyway, let me just talk about the game here because the final game at White Hart Lane. Victor Wanyama scored early in the match against Manchester United. So gave Tottenham a 1-0 lead. And then that Harry Kane guy, as my brother likes to call him,
I want the trademark.
Scored just such a pretty goal. Cross comes in off a free kick from Christian Eriksen. Harry Kane has a Manchester United defender like he's wearing him on his back. I don't know why there wasn't a foul called, but he manages, because he's a strong guy, manages to just kind of stick out his right foot while he's holding up this other guy like he's piggybacking on him, and gets enough of his foot on the ball to knock it past David De Gea, the Manchester United goalie, and that makes it 2-0. All right, and that was like around the 50th or 51st minute. Now, the only unfortunate part about yesterday was that Wayne Rooney scored later in the game for Manchester United, which means that Wayne Rooney scores the last goal at White Hart Lane. I was hoping that Tottenham would get one more, but you know what? Harry Kane gets the game-winning goal and the last match at White Hart Lane. I like it.
Not a bad thing.
It's got a little bit of poetry to it.
Of course, that Harry Kane guy.
Because he's Harry Kane.
He's a pretty good guy, isn't he?
He's very good.
Okay.
He's Harry Kane.
Yeah, he's Harry Kane. Anyway,
so in other Premier League news this week,
come on, let's
Chelsea actually did win the title. We have to give them credit for winning a title.
Okay,
look at my brother's waving his arms at me.
Well, you have 2 minutes left.
So, Chelsea, congratulations to them.
Liverpool is going to be in the top 4.
Liverpool more than likely will be in the top. They actually got a win yesterday, big win to help them because they were kind of sliding a little bit. So, but it looks like Liverpool and Manchester City will be the third and fourth place teams. Arsenal still has a shot if one of those teams bottles things, as they say over there. So those are the top 5. Manchester United is sixth, and the only way they get to the Champions League is if they win the Europa League, which they're in the final, and that game is, I think, next week.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. And, the Red Bulls lost to the LA Galaxy, the NYCFC.
Yeah. Red Bulls are slumping.
They still need a full name, which they don't have. They tied FC Dallas, another team that needs a name. Why aren't they like something else? Why FC is so stupid?
FC. NYCFC is now fourth place in the Eastern Conference, and the Red Bulls are fifth.
They're still playing Yankee
Red Bulls
Stadium,
are sliding.
Right?
Yeah, yes.
Are they getting their own stadium?
At some point they will, but it's still one of those in negotiation kind of things.
Yeah, well, I don't know where they're going to put it.
And Toronto FC is in first place in the Eastern Conference with 25 points.
I'm confused with all this FCs, brother.
Why? You don't have to be confused. It's FC. It means football club.
Yeah, I know, but let's go Mets. It's not let's go Metropolitans.
Well, you could say Metropolitans.
It's not the New York Baseball Club.
You could, but that's the Yankees in New York Baseball Club.
No, the Mets are.
Well,
anyway,
I'm talking about the original.
We're out of here,
Club.
brother. You've been listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, WHPC HD, Garden City. Coming up next, he is known as Big Ed. He's doing the Good Gold Show. I suggest you listen.
I demand you listen.
You don't have to demand. You just have to ask. It's Big Ed. He doesn't demand. He's a laid back guy.
I know. That's why I was demanding. Crank it up.
Crank it up, baby. Anyway, thank you for listening. I will see you Friday with Beatles songs from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. I will see you with the Free for All Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and we will see you in 167 hours with more From the Press Box. I am Rob Leonard. He is
Tim Leonard.
And Tim, you're on Twitter at
Real Tim Leonard.
Take care. Bye-bye.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
I love this station.
90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD Garden City.